12:30. Okay, let's see. All right. Hello, everyone. We are live. If you are listening live, please hashtag live. If you are listening replay, hashtag replay. Welcome, welcome to another conversation. I am excited. I am pumped. I am ready with my notes to capture what I'm also going to learn from this conversation because this is a very, very necessary conversation. And that's why we're doing it in the middle of the day, busy schedules, but we're making this work. We're talking today about healing young minds in the age of screens. And I am honored, excited, delighted to introduce this powerful woman, this woman that carries what I call humble strength. Her name is Dr. Aderomoke Martins. Doc, thank you for coming. I celebrate you.
Thank you for having me, Mel. Thank you.
All right. And for those of you who are watching and you're listening and you feel like this is a conversation that someone should be in on, please by all means share this link with them. You can tag them in the comments. You can just forward this to them. Of course, the replay will be available after, but I believe this is going to be an empowering conversation for all of us that is listening live and in replay and can help not only our now, but the future generation, of course, our kids. All right, so I'm going to introduce our guest. Her name is Dr. Aderomoke Martins. Like I said, she's a seasoned worship leader. You should hear her sing. She's not going to sing today, but maybe the next time. But she's a singer. She's a performing and a recording artist based in Texas. She's from Nigeria, and she embodies a profound dedication to service, education, and community enrichment. She has a passion for young minds, molding them. She likes to teach, self-improvement tools and excellence. She is a UN ambassador. She's an author. She is a woman of many achievements. She has graced national and international stages. She's man, wow. Even I'm like, girl, you can tell me all of this. But Doc, please, for those who are watching, introduce yourself. Who you are. I know these are your accolades, and I only mentioned a few, and why you do what you do.
Okay, thank you, Dr. O. As she said, my name is Dr. Aderomoke Martins. I'm an author, a life coach, a singer, a global peace ambassador appointed through the World of Life Ministries International in consultative status to the United Nations and intergovernmental bodies. And I am a peace advocate. And as an advocate, I use faith, media, and diplomacy to promote peace and global dialogue through music, speaking, and humanitarian exercises.
Wow. Why do you do what you do now?
I am passionate about helping children become a better version of themselves in a world where children are not given that opportunity, or I won't say they're not given the opportunity, but parents, teachers, educators are not giving them the opportunity to thrive as much as they could. Many a times we see that children can do more than we expect them to do. And we're not giving them the opportunity to thrive on that platform. That is where I come in to make people understand, parents, organizations, to know that children can be all that we want them to be. And that is why I am pushing that to make sure that we ensure that our children live beyond their expectations.
I like that. One of the things I tend to say a lot is, especially in rooms where they're young kids or they're kids or young adults, I say people tend to rise to the occasion or rise to the level of expectation. So you reduce it, they adjust. You raise it, they adjust. I've seen people do things that even they didn't know was possible when they open their minds to the possibility. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. And, I want to celebrate all the teachers, all the things, fighting the world of distraction we're in. This conversation will be very helpful. Now, my first question to you, Doc, is this. We're raising kids who, or in this day and age, kids who can swipe before they can speak. I have kids who, sometimes they come with their parents, and I see them, they can maneuver the phone, like even show features on Instagram that existed, and we're seeing that That's good, but even conversational English is pretty weak or faint. So, what's the real impact? Like, why should we care? I mean, we're in the digital age. Why should we care?
Before I go on, I want to just have bring out this disclaimer that is not is technology is not the bad person here. I just want everyone to know. I'm not debunking the impact of technology. Technology has made our lives better, has made our lives easier, has made us thrive in everything that we're doing. This conversation now is based on technology. It has made our lives easy. So I am not debunking what technology has done, but the I am trying to help us understand the negative impact of what technology is doing to our children. Now, I'll go into a little bit of social psychology. We are social beings. And as social beings, one of our the fundamental part of our existence is interaction. Interaction through communication, through relationship. And if that is not established, there is a challenge. I remember, I'm going to give it a scenario of two families, of two mothers. I know of a mother who was always giving her child a phone whenever she needed her me time. And then there was another mother. I'll use the first mother is mother A, and the other mother is mother B, where she had conversations with her child growing up, maybe when the child was a toddler. She was always engaging the child. The child will point. The mother was talking. She was speaking. When the child, okay, for mother A, when the child got to the age of 2, where the child should be able to communicate at their level to their parents, the child could not speak because the child was surrounded with the gadget, the digital gadget, the phones, the iPads, and all of that. But this other child that was always having conversations with her mother was able to speak above her age level because there was constant conversation with her mother and her vice versa. So I would say that as much as children can swipe, it is not helping them when it comes to issues or when it comes to conversations. It's not even helping them mentally because this child that I say, the child B who was even speaking above her age level, was able to say things. Her conversation was fluent. This child was fluent. I had to ask the mom, what did you do to this child? The mom said she kept speaking to the child. When they go out, she will point at this, point at that. They had conversations, and that was what helped the child to be an eloquent speaker at that age. So I would say the impact is really high when we give children the phones to swipe and not have an equal amount of conversations with them. That means the technology or they not having the ability to converse with us as parents or even their friends is higher than when the device is not given to them. So I feel that there is a wide gap when we give our children this thing and what it should do to them to help them. It's not doing that. And then we as parents are not doing our own assignment by having conversations with our children. When our children need something, the next thing we do is give them the phone. We give them the iPad. We give them the tablet. And these children go through passive activities on these devices that will not teach them what we as parents would teach our children.
And in saying this, I know half parents were like, like, we got to work, we got to do the things, and so let's talk. Maybe let's talk about the implications a little bit more, so that maybe we can encourage parents and caregivers to maybe shift our priorities. This conversation is not to make parents feel bad, or
No.
it's to challenge us to see what's happening before our very eyes, so we don't lose sight, and we can course correct quickly. All right, so this is why we're having this conversation. So let's talk briefly about how screens affect children's emotional and mental health. Like they're entertained, they're watching something that's good, they're watching other kids do good, amazing stuff there. So what's the big deal?
The impact of technology on our children, the negative side. Now let me be specific so that you know where I'm coming from. It makes children very anxious, because that saying that patience is a virtue. It doesn't work with our children of this digital age, because they don't know how to teach, they don't know how to be patient, they don't know how to wait for gratification. They don't know that. Just by the press of a button, is either food, my driver is at the door. By the press of a button, if I'm hungry, I just press a button and food is at my doorstep. I press the button, anything I need comes to me. I don't even need to go out there. When we're growing up, if we really needed something, we'll have to leave the house, go to the store and get what we needed to get. So you have to think before you act. But right now, by the press of a button, that is done. So it makes children really very anxious. I know of a friend who takes her children to remote areas where there is no device, so that the children understand that what they have, it's a what they have, they should be grateful for what they have. So she makes them understand, she takes them there almost yearly, so that they understand that they are blessed, they are privileged to have these things. It's not a right, it's a privilege. Now, the other thing is that children become, apart from the mental health and their emotional health, have you noticed that you are a medical personnel? So have you noticed that the sicknesses that we used to, you know, we relate to older people are now what children are having now? Am I just please just let me
I
know
mean,
if
we're
I'm
seeing
right or wrong?
diabetes in younger age. We're seeing, maybe. I think also what these are being tested for. But I can see what you're saying, where even attention issues. I mean, it's big. Attention issues are big. Like people are struggling because there's a need to constantly be stimulated
Yes,
from the devices. Yeah, so we're
yes.
seeing that.
So children become very obese. And I think I saw this thing recently that being sedentary is the new silent killer. Being sedentary is the new silent killer, because our children are not moving, they are not exercising, they are not playing unstructured play. Because I think from what the research I was doing is, when children move around, when children are in active play, their muscles are building, their bones are strengthening. Even when a toddler is trying to walk, the child will fall and rise up again. That is how, you know, their bones are strengthened. But when a child is in a static posture all the time for the whole day, it affects their health, and it's a silent killer. Another thing, they become very aggressive. I don't know if you've seen some of those videos of children when you take the device from them, they become so wild, extremely wild, beyond control. This is what the negative impact of this is doing to our children. Children are so distracted. This thing it's becoming a nemesis in our society now. Children cannot stay still. If you take the phone from them, they can't sit still. You tell a child to sit still at least for 5 minutes, and the child is very, very jittery. That is what has become of these things. And then when children are the impact of this is that it has also led children into depression. And we know what depression, the end product of depression, it becomes very suicidal. These are the negative impacts of, the screens affecting our children.
Sometimes, you're watching social media, you're watching TV, you're watching things, there are things that you think you're missing out because you don't have it. So you don't feel joyful, you don't feel grateful. And so we've seen an uptick in depression and anxiety since the social media age. But you did say something earlier. Technology is a gift. We can connect digitally now across the globe with people that are miles away from us, get to experience different cultures. So it's a gift. But someone who's watching is like, okay, so are you saying I should just take this for my kids? Can we talk about practical? Are there healthy ways to use technology without harming development? And I don't know about a 0 to 100 approach or vice versa, but typical tip. Someone who's watching is like, okay, I understand the need. I am busy. It's a way to babysit without having to pay for stuff. So it's a cost saving issue. So are there healthy ways to use technology without harming development? Let's talk practical steps to dealing with this.
I would say that parents should, first of all, parents, you are the role models for your children. If you are telling your child that you want them to have healthy boundaries around the screen, we as parents should exemplify it, of which many of us, I see Dr. O is smiling.
We're working on
Many of us are not good examples to our children when it comes to our screens. Sometimes our children are speaking to us and we are scrolling, or we have to, reply that email. We have to attend to this. We have to attend to that. Parents, we need to come to a point where we have digital contracts with our children. Okay, at so time of the day, maybe at 8 o'clock, everybody shut your phones down and put it in a designated place, except if somebody is on call like Dr. O, where you have to have your phone. But there are exemptions to the rule. But it's a family, it can be a family contract where you all sit down together and draft the constitution for your digital devices. That's number one. Number two, explain boundaries around the phone and be consistent. One thing that children thrive in, or take parents seriously about, is when a parent is consistent about a certain thing. So if we are speaking about boundaries on this device, let's be consistent. If we say 8 o'clock, everybody shut the phone down. Even parents, shut it down. Let us be consistent. When it's consistent, it thrives. And even the children understand the importance of that. Number three, many a times growing up, when our parents say, don't do this or don't do that, sometimes, and it was based on their own understanding, we didn't have much of the explanations to some of the things. Yesterday, my husband and I were talking about something, and I asked him, he asked me, he said, do you know the reason why this was done? I said, no, I've never heard of it. I'm just hearing about it. I researched on it, and I said, this was the reason. Now, the idea was, don't do it. There was no explanation to it. Don't do it. But it is how many years later, I just went on my phone to research about it, and that was the reason. There were reasons why they were told not to do something. So as parents, we should explain to our children. Children they have the right to be heard and to even hear what we are trying to explain to them. So as parents, explain to them why we should have boundaries on our phones, why there are certain apps we shouldn't put on our phones, there are certain things or there are certain websites we should not go to. And if the children perchance go on those websites, there are consequences. So these are constitutions that parents and children should, create, so that it helps easy, easy
conversation.
conversations and even easy handling of these devices. When the children, once there's a law backing up, the device, the children will take it seriously. Third thing is okay, let me see. The other thing is yes, always have, as much as possible, even if we're telling the children, put this thing away at this certain time, let us also ensure that we make sure that our children have unstructured play. Because if you are taking the device away from them, ensure that there is something you're putting in. It takes a lot of work. Parents, honestly, I dove cap for our parents. When I was growing up, I thought parenting was easy, but when I became a mother, I understood that parenting is not a walk in the park. It takes a lot of work. But as I was saying, when you take the device away from them, not literally, but also put something into that time that they have, so that that place is not empty. And I was saying to Dr. O before we started that, boredom is a gold mine for creativity. When your child comes to you and say, I'm bored, when my child comes to me and says she's bored, I say, go think, be creative, go and be creative. And there are many things that my child has created out of boredom that is till today is still mind blowing. So when a child says they're bored, always encourage them to be creative in that space. And you can also help them. I think, as they always say, it's teamwork to make the dream work. So parents, don't just leave the children out there to discover it for themselves. Be with them, help them, encourage them, ask questions, and even ask for their own opinions while you're doing these things with them.
I like a lot of things you said, so many things, and I put them in the comments as well. The conversation piece, it would help with minimizing guilt and shaming. And, when you explain the why, you empower your kids to think. And
Yes.
that's something, there's a disconnect, my time where it's no, I'm your parent, this is what I do, and that's it. But when you explain the why, you spur, oh, this is why. So when there's a decision similar to be made, there's a thought process behind it. Very important. And yes, allow for creative structured play. I got to work on that because even their play, I want to structure it. I wanted to go read a book, but create avenues for them to play. So board games, conversation. I like the talking points where the kids are asking parents questions. Like there was one that says, how can kids show respect to, parents show respect to kids? Or what are things parents do that kids don't like and why? And so it broke a good conversation. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised what you discover in those conversations. And it's more work, but please don't see it that way. It's more strategic work. And you find out funny things about the kids too. They can tickle you. You can work out with playing with them. Let's find creative ways to allow, and I'm taking this down, unstructured play.
Yes.
I'm going to work on that unstructured play. And, and then that leads me to my next question because Doc, we have a few minutes. We're going to do a part two. But let's talk about, the pushback that real world skills, there are people who get paid to be gamers. And so they have to study the game and they're YouTubers, they have to study the algorithm. So what's the right balance? And if you were of advice between no screens and real world skills that allow for extremes. So no screens at all, no, just sitting in a corner somewhere versus, oh no, they need to learn all the things. So there's free allowance. What's the right balance? Like how do you go with that?
I will put it this way. Passive activity with technology is the problem. But when you have active activity with technology, that is the game. Now, passive activity is when a child just keeps scrolling. There's nothing the child is learning. The child is just looking, watching, and all of that. But active activity is when a child goes into, maybe the child wants to learn coding, or you encourage your child to learn coding. Now we're in the AI age. This is the best time to encourage your child to start doing a little learning of AI. When there is an active learning concerning a particular thing you want them to learn, and then after learning it, there is a hands-on activity they are doing. That is where, we are bringing about where we're using technology the right way. This is where there is a balance because the child is learning from technology, not passively active on technology. There's a difference between the two.
Yeah. Thank you. That's powerful. What about play? What are your thoughts? Like some who say they want their games Roblox, whatever. I think it's
That's a story for another day.
Roblox, and they want to play. So it's not learning. And one of the things I'll share that I do is like when I see videos on Instagram that I like that are educational, I have one that I save for them. And once in a while, I'll sit with them and show them, and they're like, "Oh, wow, did that? That's inspiring. I'm going to do this." So things I think will inspire them. Sometimes we'll look together. But I curate those for them. But for those who are like, well, they play their games on there. What is your take on it? Yeah.
I would say even if they are playing their games, I think I watched a video recently recently where the man was at work and they needed to get the task done within, was it 6 hours? Now, the knowledge he gained from gaming, the knowledge he gained from gaming was what helped them to achieve 100.1 outcome of their, of what they were supposed to achieve in 6 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm not saying, now this is the thing, I'm not saying there are times where children need to have and this is also the part for unstructured play, not in the sense of they running around, but it's also where they can express themselves. But this is the thing, let it not be a habit, let it not be the end. This is it. Now it should be the means to the end. If that child understands that he has had it for himself, this child was able to use it to gain a client that had a big deal for them in that movie that I watched. So every knowledge is not a waste. But when it now becomes a habit that a child is addicted to and the child cannot do without, that is where the challenge is. Because there is no learning that is a waste. You can see he was gaming. He was learning how to game, of which at a point he stopped. He stopped it because it was a Christian movie. God told him that, see, if I need you to do this, I need you to let go of that. But the knowledge that he got from gaming was what helped them achieve their goal in the office.
Wow.
So no
And
knowledge is wasted.
and the kids are going to like, you remember when I helped optimize your system by playing games? You should let me play games. They're gonna capitalize on that one. All right. Doc, oh man, we got 3 minutes, but I want us to like bullet point these. So can you share some creative screen-free activities that help kids reconnect with life offline? We're talking easy to implement, Doc, not like, easy to implement.
Yes, I will talk about as I always say, play is not an option for children. Just as our work, our 9 to 5 earns us a living, play is important for children to live healthy lives. So we can force screen-free activities that we can have with our children. We can have board games with our children. We can have arts and crafts. We can have scavenger hunts. We can have music creation. We can have gardening. Many of our children that don't like dirt, they can learn. They can, learn something. You can take them to the library. You can take them to the playground. You can take them to event centers where they have activities for children. And then at home, you can also create these things in the confines of your home. For example, for those of us that want our children to start cooking at a very early age, you can start telling them it can be a game. Okay, you have this carrot, I have this carrot, the first to finish. It's a game. But indirectly, you're teaching them 1 or 2 things. Okay, scavenger hunt. I have this somewhere here, here, here. I need you to go get it in 5 seconds. You are already implementing screen-free activities for your children. It is possible, it is doable if we have the mind to put it to work.
I love it. All right, next question, because I want to squeeze all the juice out of you, young right now. Okay. How can parents model healthy tech habits themselves? Like, how can you any quick tips for us parents?
Yes, parents, you're the first teachers to your children. So whatever you do, you are the first example. Your children will do whatever you do. So as much as possible, be the first teachers for your children. And then secondly, I would encourage parents to always constantly check our children's phones. You're not nosy, please. You're not nosy. Just as Dr. O, when you have a patient or a patient and you need the parent to administer certain things to the child at a certain time, the outcome is for the child to have a healthy life. So if I say, okay, as a medical practitioner, you say, oh, you give this child this at this time, this time, this time, this time. The parent is in the child's face because he or she has to do that to make sure that that child is well. Now, you have to always monitor your children's, will I say monitor, or I'll just say, let me know, I don't want to use the word monitor so that it doesn't look as if we are, into our children's lives. But truth be
We
told, we
should be
need,
though. We
true,
should be though.
true,
Should,
true.
like that's what parenting is. We help
That's
like
what
there's a
parenting.
help for each season.
So I take my word back. Monitor what they do. Don't be in their faces, but monitor what they do. Many a times we give our children these gadgets and we don't know what they are doing on it. I saw a video one time ago where the I think some people who were equipped to find out predators on the gadget found out, they went to the back end of that gaming app and realized that there were 19 predators conversing with a child. Now, and the mother was not aware. And the man told the mother, you have to be in, you have to know what is going on. Many of us, we just give these devices and we go to sleep. No, you have to be there. 19 predators. If that boy was not called to order, or they had not gone to the back end of that device, I don't know what what would have happened to the child today. So we need to monitor what our children watch and guide them through it. It's not just to monitor. Okay, this thing I saw you watch, I don't think, let's talk about it. You
Let's
understand?
talk about
Let's talk about it. What can we do? What did you learn from this? And then you give your own parental counsel. But don't leave your child to just walk with the the screens by themselves. Always guide them. And then um there's something that a person did. There was this question that someone said, oh, but okay, for example, in the house we have the Wi-Fi and we can't have the children have access to it. Do you know what this person did? The father of the house ended up locking the children's devices at a certain time. So at a certain time they have open window for homeworks and all of that. After that time is done, the internet switches off from their devices. So these are things you can also do to control the impact of devices, of just surfing the net, with our
And
children.
and it's a balance, this conversation. Why do you like this? Why do you like to watch this? Let's have conversation. How does it affect you? Sometimes in
Mm.
conversation, oh, I can't sleep. I feel a little less stressed. I'm scared. Or I like the color. I like something, I like the painting. I like that it lets me paint. Okay, maybe we can give you other outlets. So this is not the only thing you're left to. The dopamine hit is real, Doc.
Oh
Like
yes, it is.
watching it, there's a dopamine hit and there's a drive for it. So if it's not fix it with the device is food or something else. So we need to teach delayed gratification. It also
Yeah.
helps build resiliency, strength in our kids. It helps them understand when things are not going your way, it's okay. You can pause. You can during the waiting seasons in life. It builds them up for the future. And that
Yes.
is why this conversation is not I want to over control my kids. It's I want to empower them and help them not get hooked on devices that don't empower. Ah. We're going to do part two. We're over our time. So I will be asking you to come back again and have this conversation. I will send you a
Thank
link
you,
also
sir.
and schedule for next year so we can have this again. But for those who are watching, who want to connect with you, Doc, where can people find
You can find me on Facebook, Aderomoke Martins, on Instagram, Divaromoke. Just look for me, you'll find me. As far as you have my name, you will find me.
you? Put it in the comment section as well, on Facebook, on YouTube as well. She's there. It was actually one of her videos I was watching on the Facebook that I was like, I slid into her DM. I'm like, sorry, can we have you come on here? Let's have this conversation. I appreciate you for doing this. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. God bless you and God continue
Thank
to
you.
strengthen your ministry. And
Amen.
thanks to all those who are watching as well. Please give Dr. Aderomoke a shout out because she took her time to do this. She's a good woman.
Thank you.
Much love, sis. I appreciate you
Thank
big
you.
time. Big
Thank
time,
you.
big time. And
Thank
thank you all for watching live and replay. As always, sharing is caring, carrying forward this. Share this with your friends. I put her information also in the show notes. And as always, if you or anyone you know is looking for an awesome, a thorough and compassionate family physician that will have conversations like this to help you move long and well, I am She. God bless you all. This